Welcome to Postcards to the Universe with Melissa Caprio. Do you believe in magic? What if you were told that all you had to do was get a little creative and work a magic spell to bring anything you can imagine into your life? Here on Postcards to the Universe, we will share manifesting, tips, postcards, creativity, abundance, and prosperity. Here is your host, Melissa Caprio.
Hey guys, and welcome to Postcards to the Universe with Melissa, creating the life you crave. It's Wednesday. How are you guys doing today? Did everybody experience the eclipse? What was it, Monday? God, the days are just flying by. I can't believe we're already in April, by the way. I feel like it was New Year's, just yesterday. So the eclipse was pretty cool. I've heard, all these really cool things about, I actually was talking to a woman who's a psychic, and she said to me, if you're good, everything's going to get gooder. If you're bad, everything's going to get badder after the eclipse. So I don't know exactly what that means, but I guess we'll see. But I have a really cool show today. I have my friend, we've actually become friends, Angela DiMarco on, and she is a branding and marketing expert, and she's also an author, and she is going to join me here in just a couple of minutes. I want to say thank you to my regulars who join me every week. It means the world to me that you keep coming back and listening to my show and downloading it. I really appreciate it. You have no idea how grateful I am. If you're just joining me for the first time, I want to give you a big, warm welcome. I hope you keep coming back. A little bit about my show. If you don't know, we are recording live, so we're live right now. All my shows are recorded live, and if you do like the style of my show and my guest, and you want to go through and listen to some older shows, you can do that anytime you want on the Om Times Radio archives. All the shows are listed, and you can listen at your convenience. And I also take my show, and I put it on my website, postcardstotheuniverse.com, on the podcast section, and you can go through them and see the guests that I've had on. I have a variety of different guests. I like to mix it up on my show, and if anybody resonates with you, you can listen to it, at your leisure. So I hope that you enjoy it and you keep coming back. A little bit more about me, if you've never heard my name before. I am an artist, I'm a photographer, and I am an author. And I have a book, hence the name of the show. My book is titled Postcards to the Universe, Harness the Universe's Power and Manifest Your Dreams. And what I did for my book is I took 30 manifesting stories along with the postcards that people contributed. And a manifesting postcard is kind of like a vision board, but it's just on a smaller scale. We pick one thing at a time that we want to manifest in our lives. I photographed the postcard, and then when their story showed up in their reality, I shared their story. So there's 30 of those in my book. And it's broken down into life themes, which is career, money, health, love, relationships, all that good stuff. So if you're interested, and I hope that you are, you can find my book, Barnes & Noble. You can find it on Amazon. I put a bunch of writing exercises in the book, so it helps us get really clear on those things that we do want to manifest. And I also have some fun manifesting games in the book. To manifest better health and more money. I have a lot of money games in the book because, we could all use that, right? So it was a lot of fun doing the book, and the book came out at the end of 2019. I cannot even believe it. Right before COVID hit. So the way I photographed the postcards changed very much during COVID, especially those 2 years we were basically in lockdown, right? So I decided that I wanted to re-photograph all the postcards in the book. And so I've been doing that, and I've been releasing them each week and a little blurb of their story. So you can see the differences if you have the book or you buy the book compared to what I'm doing now. So you can see how much I've changed. Because as an artist, we're always growing, and we're always growing and changing as it is. But for an artist, our work is always changing. So it's very different now than the way it originally was done in the book, which is kind of interesting. And I also decided that I wanted to do live readings from my book. So I take the story from the book. They're about 5-minute videos. I share them on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and you can follow along that way too. So you could see me reading each story from the book, and then I show you the postcard. So I hope you follow along. I hope that that's interesting to you. And if it is, if you do follow along, say hi, let me know that you're there. It would mean the world. So that's what I am doing. I have a couple of workshops going on too, which I'm super excited about. And you can see those you can see everything, by the way, on postcardstotheuniverse.com. You just go to my website and I have everything listed. Links to the show, the podcast, my blogs, my book, my social media, and my workshops. And one that I'm super excited about because it is all about using gratitude to manifest. It's called Manifesting Through Gratitude. It's a visual journey. It runs 5 weeks, Thursday evenings, 6 to 8 p.m. We recycle the workshop when it completes, we start a new one. I think that there's going to be a new one coming up May or June. I'm not quite sure, but somewhere around there. And we use our camera phones as a tool for manifesting, and we're going to use gratitude, all the things that we already have in our life to be grateful for. So we're going to add some power to that. So it's a lot of fun, and I hope you join me. And I also teach a how to make a manifesting postcard workshop, which is a one-day thing. It's a lot of fun. And of course, I'm always asking, please send me manifesting postcards. If you want to learn how to do it, check it out on my website. The address is listed there. And, send me one and just let me know that I have to expect one coming in the mail. I get so excited when I get them. I swear to God, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I love it when I get postcards. All right. So let me get to my friend and my guest, Angela DiMarco. So in the realm of practical design leadership, Angela specializes in guiding businesses to express their unique brand with authenticity and creativity. With over 30 years of experience in branding, marketing, and advertising, she possesses an intuitive knack for uncovering the soul of a company, from shaping your visual brand to connecting with your audience. Angela's goal is to empower you and your organization with a sturdy foundation. As Phenom Publishing's Chief Creative Officer, Angela collaborates with Phenom's authors to create a design for their books that expresses the promise and premise of the experience the reader will have between the covers. I love that. So her book, which is titled Uniquely You, Update Number 52, is a compilation of emails written over the course of a year and a half. Great ideas for businesses are a dime a dozen. So join Angela as she bravely opens every closet and cupboard to share her open-hearted journey of starting up Uniquely You. By sharing in its origin story, you will witness the birth of a bright-eyed first-time entrepreneur as she fumbles, stumbles, and gets back up again to launch a new kind of company fitting for our current new kind of world. The story provides the reader with a peek into the mind of a true visionary as she finds her sea legs. So the best way to connect with Angela is on her LinkedIn. So if you go to LinkedIn, you just go to Angela Marie DiMarco and you can find her. Hey, Angela, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Melissa. Oh my gosh, I was listening to all of the good stuff that you have, like that you do, and I was like, oh my God, everything is so good. It's so good. Your workshop is so good. Your book is so good. Everything is awesome. And I'm like cheering you on behind mute, just so you know. I'm just like so proud of everything that you've done and accomplished and the work that you do for people. It's honestly, you should feel so good for yourself. So proud of you.
Oh, thank you. That was such a nice compliment. I really appreciate that. So, Angela, tell everybody a little bit about who you are and how you got into the work that you're doing today, and like what inspired you, to start the Phenom Publishing.
So, okay. I grew up in advertising in New York City, basically like from a career perspective. And in 2008, I was working in an agency, and I was, halfway up the food chain in the creative department. And we had massive layoffs. The whole world went kaput. And I collaborated with a couple of friends who also got kind of laid off, and we all did our own thing, where we started to bring all the stuff that we got from this big agency experience to bring to the little guy, and with costs that were effective, and just really kind of were able to connect with these business owners and give them this top level service to really help move their businesses forward at not, huge agency prices. And that kind of launched me into really getting to know the owners of these businesses and really feel like a connection with them and what they were doing, and then bringing that out in their brand. So I was working I was doing this, and then I wanted to go in-house, and I was a director of marketing for a manufacturing company. Nice, cushy, safe job, figures, all that good stuff. And it was all through COVID. And I was just something just was not right. I just was not happy. But we were saving up for a house and all that stuff. And then I lost a baby while I was there. And that losing Joshua put me on a spiritual journey just to look inside myself and really know who I am, why that experience was, and all that stuff. And basically, I started going. I met with I don't know if your listeners know of these people, but Aaron Dowdy and Victor Odo. They had they're cute YouTubers who do spiritual stuff. And I took a workshop with Victor Odo, and it was really cool. It was 12 weeks. Every Sunday we met, and we talked about different ways to connect with your higher self. I'm this is freaking cool. And then after the 12 weeks, it was over. But the purpose of that was to really figure out what your purpose was. What's your soul's purpose? Why are you here? And once, I would say in October, I wrote down this idea for a business, this online university business. And we'll get into how you're related to that. And then we bought the house. And then I was working with Dana Sardano, my co-host on our podcast, and co-founder and best friends and all that stuff. He had painted a painting for me with me, as I saw me and my kids, with Joshua in the painting. And we did an intuitive guidance session, and it was really cool. I was like, listen, I have this idea for a business. And she was like, oh, my God, you have to do that. It's gold. And so then for a year, I was just working on the business on the side while I was at this job. And the more that I worked on my purpose, the more the job sucked. It's harder to get to every day. And it's just every little thing, the stuff that they were worried about, I was like, oh, my God. And the lack of, contribution that I had. So I just was miserable. And then we bought our house, and I looked at my husband, and I was like, I have to quit now. I have to go work on this. I just have to. There's no way. So that was December. It was really interesting. December 3rd, 2 years after I lost the baby, was my last day of that job. So on the day, so it wasn't planned. And so December 3rd is dubbed Joshua Day for everybody who's out there listening. Joshua Day is a day of celebration and transformation. So worked on the business, created this online university, and it was awesome. We launched June 26, 2022, called finduniquelyyou.com, with the letter U, like a university. And it was really, really fun for a while. And then by October of that, so we were running it for about 3 months. We were successful. Courses were running, workshops, people's lives are being changed. It was awesome. But something in it was no longer fun for me. And I've come to realize in hindsight that my joy was in building the business and creating something from nothing, the technology, everything. I was on fire when I was doing it. And then when it was maintaining it, I was like, wah, wah,
Yeah.
It wasn't the same, So at that point, Dana and I looked at each other and we were like, well, what do we really want to do? And Dana had written, she'd written 2 books, and one she had published with a publisher in London or in England, I don't know exactly where. And it just wasn't the experience that she was hoping for. So she was like, I think we should just republish my book. Let's self-publish it. I'm like, well, why don't we just create a publishing company? It was literally as simple as that. And we published her book first. And then a friend of ours was our first author. Anne-Marie Scordy wrote Happy Hour at the Water's Edge. Awesome, fun book. And then we decided to publish Dana's second book, Decoding the Woo-Woo, Beyond the 10, Decoding the Woo-Woo, which is brilliant. And then I decided to put a book together, and we published that, and all of a sudden we have like a catalog.
Yes. So those of you who are listening, if you want to look up, I had Dana Sardano on my show. I can't remember the date offhand, but if you search back in the archives, you can find that interview so you can listen. And I am on their platform so if you go to my website and you click on the workshop, what it does is when you decide you want to do it and sign up, it takes you to finduniquelyu.com. And that's, so you're the one who designed that whole badass platform then, really.
Yeah, literally from pencil sketches in a notebook to how the pixels pushed. Yeah, like everything.
Wow.
It's my brainchild. Yep.
Yeah, well, see, what's really cool, and I understand being a creative person, it's in the creating something that brings the spark. If you have that, if you're that kind of a person, it's in creating the piece, and that piece just happened to be the platform for us to do the workshops and the thing, but, mine is a photograph or whatever it is, or a digital, composition or whatever I'm doing, right? That's like where the joy and the passion and the spark is. So I totally understand that once it was up and you're like, all right, now what am I going to do?
Seriously, I was like kind of like kicking the tires. I'm like, is there something I can fix? Like, I was looking for reasons to reach out to my developer. I'm like, hey, I think you got to check the back end on something. They're like, okay. What we're doing now is pretty cool though. So from Phenom Publishing, we then decided to create kind of like a parent company called Uniquely Phenom Collaboration, or UPC. And it's uniquelyphenom.com, and it goes to everything that we do. But so what we've decided is that, like, we love the publishing part of our business, and we call these brands. So Phenom Publishing is a brand, finduniquelyu.com is a brand. Our podcast, Going Commando with Angela and Dana, is our absolute favorite of all the things that we do, because it's just Dana and I chatting away. We record our episodes on Monday mornings. We catch up from our weekends. Dana's like chock full of wisdom. So it's just like all of her wisdom and me getting intuitive guidance in real time for people. It's just so much fun. So we have the podcast there. And so the platform itself, we've got a handful of you instructors, just incredible people on there, but it's not a priority for us. So we've decided to offer it like as a clone of what we're doing, keeping finduniquelyu.com, but offering it as a clone for other communities that would want to offer this online learning. It's really, really, really cool. So it's really fun because then I get to recreate this whole platform for somebody else in their brand, and I'm like, yay! And then I get back into the love of the game,
Yeah. Well, it's such a great platform, and I think it's so appropriate and perfect for the world that we live in, this digital age right now, because you don't need to be like, I'm in Florida. Angela, you're in New York still, right? You're still in New York, right? Yeah, so you're in New York. So, like, we could do a class together, a workshop together, and we don't have to fly. I don't have to book a hotel. Not that there's anything wrong with workshops in person, because some of those are really, really fun. But sometimes you can't get to something, and it's really something you would love to do, but logistically, it's just not going to work out for you, or maybe even financially, plane ticket, renting a car, a hotel, food, when you could do it from the comfort of your house, which is what I love so much. And it allows more like-minded people to find each other in such unique ways, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And, what really differentiates us from other, learning platforms is that we tell me about how you experienced our training program, Ready, Set, Teach. How was that for you coming in as a creator yourself to come in and create a workshop? Was that a positive experience for you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely was a positive experience for me. It was really easy to follow along, to figure out how to put it together. I mean, anybody who's ever sent out a Zoom link, right, and you're the host of a link to have a meeting or whatever, could put this together in literally could put something, could present in 5 minutes. If you don't have any kind of technological experience, if you just go through it a couple of times and once you get it, you just get it. And what's really cool about it is I liked the fact that I could upload onto the formatting what I have on my computer. And as a visual artist, that's great. I could show examples of postcards. I could create, I could share a PDF document, and I could share it with everybody who signed up for the workshop. And it's really easy to follow, and then it's recorded. So if you miss anything, you could go back and listen to it and watch it. And so I just thought it was seamless. Once you understand it, it's seamless.
That's awesome. Yeah. And we try to pride ourselves on the fact that you don't have to worry about your students signing up. You don't have to worry about the billing. Right. You don't have to worry about any of that. We take care of all that for you, so you can literally just show up, teach your workshop, and engage and enjoy. And it's just, we try to make it as easy and seamless for our instructors as possible.
Oh yeah, no, that is the good part of it too, because you don't have to, be chasing everybody down. You guys do all that. So that's the partnership that the creator has with you. Is we create what we want to sell, and you guys are the ones that say, okay, got it, and send everything out to everyone. So it takes one less to-do job away from the creator, which is kind of nice because our to-do lists are a mile long, right?
Totally, totally. Yes, I call it my to-do list, by the way, not my to-do list. Can I borrow that? Okay. Of course. Dana and I will be she's pull up your to-do list. Let's see what's going on.
That feels so much better. I like that so much better than, I gotta do this. It's no, my to-do list, right? That's so awesome. All right, so for anybody who's listening who already has or wants to, become an entrepreneur or wants to start a business, what is, I know the list is, not short, but what is the first thing that you tell your clients? Because do you do the coaching also? Do you take up, you guys do the coaching also? If I came to you and said, I have this idea, but I don't know what to do with it, help me. You would help me narrow down what it was that I want to do and how do I want to share that, right?
Yeah, so I mentor I call them early stage founders, people with ideas, from ideas to you just started and you're not sure what to do. But my mentoring is more in the realm of branding, because branding is really, really important as far as that goes. So my first recommendation is always to sit and ask yourself, what is it you're doing? Really define your vision, your mission. What are your values? One of our number one values is don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
Right. PC for the audience. But really,
you don't have to be. You don't have to be PC for my audience, but it's okay. Yeah, but don't be an asshole. Right? Yeah.
Don't be an asshole. But that's my number one. Don't be an asshole. We'll be good to you. We'll be good to each other if it's symbiotic. But really, if you know who you are from the get, it really helps the decisions that you have to make as you kind of understand what's going on, with your life and whatever. And then the second is, if you have a job you hate and you're wanting to do something on the side, just plan accordingly. Don't burn the bridge down and flip everybody off and try to go do your thing. It will come. It will come. You just have to have patience. And take little baby steps to get there, but be strategic about it. Don't be off the rails. When I quit my job, now remember, I was working on the business for a year. I quit my job. I gave them 5 weeks notice, helped them find my replacement. I was very responsible about it. And I took the time off I needed in between and things like that. So it's really about strategy, planning, and then just digging in and knowing who you are.
Yeah, that makes sense. And a lot of people listening are maybe doing a job that they're doing because they have to pay their bills. They have to take care of their family, but they're not enjoying it. And there's something else that they have a dream that they might want to create. And maybe it starts out as a little bit of a hobby, right? So you can't just quit your job and have no income coming and think like, okay, I'm going to start this tomorrow and it's just going to take off and start making me money. I mean, that's not really realistic. So you do have to be strategic and start putting some energy there while you're still doing what you're doing until you can, like you said, till you can leave your job, and go there, right? Because for a lot of people listening, they just don't have that option where they could be like, oh, I decided I wanted to be, my brand is this, and I'm going to start doing all these videos and doing all this stuff, and I could leave my job. It just doesn't work that way. So we have to be realistic about what your vision is. Yeah,
absolutely. But it's also like, that's something to take a look at too. If you're really busy, if you have little kids, if you have whatever, and you say, where are the pockets of time that I can allocate to this new endeavor? And if it's like, okay, I work from home and I have like an hour break for lunch. A lot of stuff I did was during my lunch break or after my kids went to sleep. So and then weekends, like if I had the help, I would steal time. And then I worked really hard. I worked late into the night, many, many, many nights because I was doing a full-time job, full-time mom, and building this business. So but it was exciting. It was the grind phase, as you will, but it was so exciting to fantasize and dream about what this would look like. And then, oh my God, the day I started to do it, oh my God, that's all in my book. Like, it's all that, like, excitement of starting the business. Like, I take people, like, you're right there with me as I start the business. So.
Oh, I love that. All right, we're going to take our break now because I want to talk when we come back about branding. So everybody stay tuned, and I'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Conscious media for conscious minds. Om Times. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Everyone has a story. I have a story. You have a story. We all have a story. As I see it, you have 3 choices. Allow your story to define you, use it to excuse you, or utilize it as a method to empower you. It's your life. You have the power. You choose. Rewrite your story on finduniquelyyou.com.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me the Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on Om Times Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free, ascendinghearts.com.
Hi, I'm Melissa Caprio from Postcards to the Universe, creating the life you crave. Do you believe in magic? What if I told you all you had to do was get a little creative and work a dream spell to bring anything you can imagine into your life? Well, guess what? I've got the spell for you. Postcards to the Universe, a global movement for manifestation, is a casting magical tool for you to use whenever you want. How does living in passion sound to you? Join me in my movement where you get to create in the magical playground. Let's think outside the box and do some playful conjuring. By casting out our desires with a manifesting postcard, we explore our hearts and allow the alchemy of our dreams to appear. And don't forget to tune in each week here on Om Times Radio with my show, Postcards to the Universe, Creating the Life You Crave at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I share tips on creativity, abundance, and prosperity, and you will be introduced to the coolest guests, trailblazers, mystics, and creatives who enrich our lives. Hey guys, and welcome back. If you're just joining me, I have Angela DiMarco as my guest, and we're talking about marketing, branding. She's an author. She knows her stuff. She's a creative. I love Angela. And it's so funny, like me, you, and Dana were the Italian girls, right? Like we should come up with like the three tenors, or something. Like we're like
yes, the three tenors of intuitive writing, branding, and all things mystical. Forget about it.
Oh my God! So branding. Everybody nowadays. Some people, they're their own brand, right? Just their name alone is their brand. So how do we brand ourselves? Like, what is the first step in branding? Let's take it past we have our name, past we have our product, or we're selling ourselves, or whatever it is, our book, that's already done. So how do we get it out to, the masses? Like, how do we do that?
So there's two different things. One, branding is kind of like an internal tool, and then marketing is really how you get it out, right? So if you understand the distinction between the two, for me, my approach to branding is all about authenticity. It's all about knowing who you are, what your product is, how it's different, and all that good stuff for you. And then making sure that everything you do is consistent with that kind of message. So the way that I approach branding with clients is I'll show them a picture of an iceberg, a dissection at the waterline. And if you look at an iceberg, the tip of it is probably only 25%, and then 75% is under the water. That's your foundation. That's the stuff that nobody sees. That is your brand. That's your brand, that's your foundation, your core, your values, why you do what you do, what keeps you up at night. All of those things, like why do you tick? What's your favorite color and why? All of these things are really important. So when I approach a company, so we're working on a client right now, and we have 3 meetings with them. The first meeting is to talk about who they are, where they came from. And we spend a good 2 hours, just all the people talking about this. And anybody who has their own business or their own idea can do this. Just talk with a friend, talk with somebody who knows you, where is this coming from? All these ideas, whatever. The second step is to talk about your competitors, your landscape, who you're speaking to, really coming up with who your ideal client is. And creating some kind of avatar for that person. Give them a persona. Take a generalization of who your most perfect person to buy your book is, or whatever it might be, or use your service, and give them a name, give them a personality, and really understand who they are. Create the Sims character. What kind of house do they have? What kind of family? What's their situation? Where do they live? What's their income? These things, so you have a clear picture of who you're talking to. And let's say you name that person Tom. So then when you're talking to Tom, you do all of your marketing and you're talking to Tom and you're reflecting on the things that you know from what you've discovered. The third step is to really dive into the specifics of your product, your service, whatever it is, being as concise as you can about what it is you do or sell, being concise and specific so that Tom can see himself using your stuff and relate. And you have to approach the marketing side of it as you're having intimate conversations. You're revealing the authenticity of your product. Don't fake it. Don't pretend you're somebody you're not. Don't be anything more. And also try to just be you. If you're yourself, you will have so much confidence in what you're out there saying because nobody can dispute what is true. So if somebody tells you, like, listen, I don't know if that's good enough because of blah, 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 and so over there is doing that, you're like, okay, but I'm doing this. And you can stand behind it with empowerment. And it's just so much more effective and stronger. Tom will be like, yeah, there's my girl. There's my product. I got you.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So as a brand, and you guys do the social media. You're very familiar with social media. How, you read the things, hashtag, then it's don't hashtag, then it's, do this, don't do this, do this, do this. How do you get your brand to stand out on social media? And social media is like, it's like, a haystack, and you're one little strand, right, in the middle of that stack. It's like, how do you stand out? How do you get people to find you?
So this goes into digital marketing, and that is definitely not my area of expertise. And I'm not the best to give advice on this because, so our podcast is on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, and forgive me, there's a train going by. I live next to the train tracks. Okay.
No worries.
So our podcast, if I can tell you the amount of messages I get on the daily about how people can grow my YouTube channel and do all of this stuff with
me too.
Yeah, and honestly, I tried one. One guy was like, let me just take 2 of your videos and I show you it'll work and then we can work together. And I was like, listen, sure, you could try, but it doesn't mean we're going to work together. But if it's successful, we can talk. And he did his little thing and he put all the hashtags in and he did the things. And first of all, he raved about our content. And then he was like, and then it didn't perform. He was like, oh, well, I guess it didn't work. So here are my rates. And I was like, are you kidding? and then he went off on me about how crappy our content is, our content. So Dana and I have made a conscious decision not to do the tricks, the tips, the tricking the algorithm, playing the algo game. And honestly, I don't know if that's what's going to work. Our intention is not necessarily to become like a YouTube sensation, but rather we want to be picked up by a network and become a show. So we have a different intention. I will tell you the advice that I got on LinkedIn, because I know like you're heavy in Instagram and you've got a great following, and I don't do the TikTok.
TikTok is growing. But with TikTok, I don't know if it's going to be around because there's, the rumors that they're trying to ban TikTok in the US. So I still add everything that I do on Instagram onto TikTok, and I'm going to keep doing that. And then if TikTok is going to be around, I notice I do get a lot of responses from TikTok. So I will really put more effort into that. Yeah,
while it's around, you might as well. Yeah, so those are like not our game as much. But because Going Commando is not just a show, it's based on our credibility of who we are. So our big social media like play is really LinkedIn. That's where Dana and I hang out and spend most of our time. And I was given advice probably back in July. And it was, you need to post consistently at least once a day. You need to comment on, I never achieved this, but 50 comments with like good, don't just be like, hey, or like to have comments on other people's content and posts that are relevant and helpful. They add value. I think I got to like 25 or 30. And I'll tell you that exercise introduced me to some really great people. And my followers went from like 800, I'm almost at 17. I've like nearly doubled my followers, but organic, it's like by real connections that I've made. I'm not going for the numbers again. This is just by connecting with people. So we post our reels every day. Dana and I also post a bunch of other content, and that's where we've had a lot of success as far as the people that we've met, like the work that we've done to the date. It just keeps getting better and better because of the people that we know on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know because I follow you guys on LinkedIn and I see that's where you spend most of your time. So I agree. I think spreading yourself as a creator, and if you're doing all of it, like you have every job in your brand right now until you can hire other people. You spend your time where you feel the most connected. So if it's LinkedIn, it's LinkedIn. If it's Instagram, it's Instagram. If it's Facebook, it's Facebook. Whatever it is, TikTok, it doesn't matter. Because when you try to spread yourself too thin, it gets overwhelming, and nobody has time to spend, 4 hours, 5 hours a day on all the social media platforms. I mean, unless that's your job, right? Unless that's what you do all day, right? And I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in being a, social media brand expert or whatever they are, whatever it is, whatever it's called, I want to talk about postcards. I want to talk about what I'm doing. I want to share the visuals. That's what I love to do, doing the workshops and doing that kind of stuff. That's where I want to put my energy. Yes, I want to share on social media, but I don't want to be there 5-6 hours a day. And I noticed that it's not authentic when I force myself to do it. I don't 100%. Feel that, right? Right? I don't feel
100%. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So our scheduling, I allocate time every Sunday to post I schedule my reels for the week. So I'm not every morning,
that's
doing
smart.
it. And so there are scheduling like tools out there that make it really easy, and the scheduling tools do push it all out for you. Like I think HubSpot has like a thing with it. All of them. There's so many freaking tools out there. But I don't want to be responsible for commenting. Like I hang out with LinkedIn and I'm majority there. Dana does the YouTube and the commenting there. And then we both have like our things and Instagram she handles and manages, because otherwise it's just too much. It's just too much. And it's like when you know who your audience is, when you know your Tom or whoever it might be, where does he hang out on social? Where do you like to engage? Instagram, I love for stupid reels. That's where I get all my stupid reels, and Dana and I pass them back and forth. But I don't like that in the comments. You have to be like link in bio or whatever the stupid thing is. Like I like it. Give everybody what they need right there. Keep it easy.
Yeah. No, I definitely know exactly what you mean. Well, just to follow this up, so what advice do you have for anybody who's listening? Because you're talking about building real relationships for us, for those of us that have brands, to make connections with our people or our Toms or our clients. What would you recommend?
So I always love just having the offline conversations. I love like contests. I love engaging people and having them interact with my content. So you'll see that like in a lot of our real copy, like when we put the post copy, it's like a question, and we're always asking people to kind of like give us their thoughts, because that's how you truly engage with people. The fact that people can send you postcards and you can just to do is so awesome, and just keep doing that, because that's true engagement. And then when people get nods or acknowledgments on like your show or in your book, or whatever it might be, it's really, really, really cool. It kind of like gives them incentive to be that. So I have this sweet little grocery store guy. When I go in, I gave him a sticker a couple months ago, and I go in, he's like, "Hey, Angela," and I'm like, "Hey." I was like, so it's my little moment of fame. I'm one person who knows me. And I did a shout out to him, and he was like, "Oh my God, you shouted out!" So it really helps. It really helps to just bridge that boundary, that invisible boundary between like being truly connected. And so I believe it's just, if you can find ways to engage with people and then give them the platform, share your platform with them, it'll help a lot.
Yeah. Well, my two favorite things are getting the postcards and photographing them. So that's like one. And then doing the show, which is, even though the show, I'm not going to say it's not work, because it's work. But I love doing the show, and it's authentic, because I find the right people to be my guests, and the right people find me. I don't have to go and try. I'm never going crazy to try to fill my roster. I'm never like scratching my head. Like, I get emails, I get introduced. Somebody says, oh, you have to meet this person or you have to talk to this person. So I love building those connections. So now that I have you on the air, what I need to do is I got to get a way to get all my guests to do a postcard. So that's what I got to start doing because I got to combine the two. So I got to come up with something creative. I just thought of it as I'm sitting here talking to
awesome.
you.
I'll be your guinea pig. I'll make a postcard and you can tell everybody about it.
There you go. Okay. You heard her. You heard her. You heard her. She said it live.
Audience. I will go to the website, make a note. I got to make a postcard. Okay, done.
Yeah. Maybe I should do that on my sign up, like to be a guest on her show. All you have to do is create a manifesting postcard and send it. Ooh, maybe I should start doing that. You know what? I'm going to think about how I could do that so I can roll it out somehow where like I would love to get the postcard before they're on the show. You know, I have to figure that one out.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Plenty of time. Yeah, there was plenty of time between hours. So it's definitely a great exercise because then you could have time to know if there was any, if it came true, if it came to fruition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super cool.
Right.
Look at
Super
you
cool.
go. Look at
Good. I might have to have you help me. You and Dana help me. So,
awesome.
Okay. So what should we not be doing? Like what as a brand and as a business should we not be doing?
One thing is to take ideas and suggestions with a grain of salt. Don't be inauthentic. Just that's the crux of it. People will sniff out inauthenticity and they won't like you. They won't trust you. They won't have faith in your brand if you're saying something but acting a different way. And just to remember, your brand is in everything you do. Even if you have a business, your brand, you are your business's brand. Even though it has a logo and a name like Postcards to the Universe, it is Melissa Caprio, right?
Yeah.
And you're being watched. So if you look at somebody, how they treat a waiter or a waitress, and if they're not kind, if they overtip because they're too generous, like, well, not too generous, that's the wrong way, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
They send back their food in a way. How do they treat people? How do they treat people on LinkedIn? How do they treat people on social media? Like, where are they? Because if it's not consistent across the board, you will not gain traction. That's just it. You will not gain traction. You will not gain respect. And even if your brand is kind of like, you know, if you're a person who's kind of closed off and just factual, that's totally fine. Just do that all the time. Don't be super effusive in one set and then be factual with somebody else because they're going to feel slighted or like, do I know who you really are? Because that's uncomfortable. Think about going on a date, right? Oh, I'm going through, I'm swiping, I'm getting my, you know, oh, you look all handsome and all these things. And you go on the date and they're like totally different. And you're like, whoa, dude, no. So don't do that.
Yeah, that's good advice. Yeah. And that's why I, you know, even on my personal social media page, like I'm very sarcastic. I curse, I say stuff. I have a little bit of a wicked sense of humor, you know, but that's who I am. And that's fine. But every once in a while, there'll be something like I want to say to somebody that I'll be like, whoosh. And then I catch myself. And that's why I don't bitch on my social media about stuff because life isn't perfect. Yes, I'm all about manifesting and being in the good vibration, but I'm not always there. And sometimes, you know, you just want to vent. And I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it because people are paying attention, you know, like, So yeah, it's true. You're right. So, okay. So I want to talk a little bit about Phenom Publishing. How are you open to getting, if anybody's an author who's listening, submissions? Like, what are you and Dana doing about that with your Phenom Publishing? How are you getting your authors?
So at this point in time, you know, we're still building our catalog. We have phenomenal books. If anybody goes to phenom-publishing.com, we have a book called Forever Connected by Paolo Trepaccioni. Oh my frickin' God, this book. I just have to say. It's like a fantasy Dungeons meets Dragon kind of thing, but it's also based in reality. And it's this dual story with two protagonists, and his writing is delicious. I don't know how else to say it. So Paolo found us, but Dana and I, because it's the two of us and the integrity of the work of the author and maintaining their story, we only take one project at a time. So we are currently backlogged at the moment. But if somebody has a completed manuscript, we do not accept books that are like ideas, because ideas are a dime a dozen. If you go to PhenomPublishing.com, we have an inquiry page, and you can submit an inquiry for our consideration to get put on our waiting list. And it requires submitting your first and last chapter, or your prologue and epilogue, or however your book is structured. And then we'll assess the manuscript and see if we're a good fit, because it's not just about us taking books and getting it out there. It's about, honestly, we become partners with our authors, and it's a highly collaborative process. It's a beautiful, creative process where we edit together, we design the cover together, and we really maintain the integrity of the author's stories. But right now, so right now we're not like backlogged. We're backlogged, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good thing. So, and it's fiction or nonfiction, right? It depends on the book. So it doesn't have to be nonfiction, or does it? No.
It really depends. We can do poetry.
It depends on the book.
Some really, yeah. And we just ask that, obviously, it's your own content that you're writing about. You're not like regurgitating somebody else's content, you know?
Yeah, that's called plagiarism. You can't do that. Or, you can't. Copyright infringement. Let's not do that. Okay, so now what about the like somebody listening may be like, oh my God, I have this fantastic workshop I would love to give. I would love to be on a platform like that. What about Find Uniquely You, being a presenter on there? How would could somebody do that? Or do you hand select your people?
We have gotten to the point where we've hand selected, because, like I said, we're not, we don't do any marketing or anything like that. You know, we just have a handful of you guys. If somebody really did want to come on, though, we do have, if you go to finduniquelyyou.com, underneath I forget what the tab is, but we have something, Become a You Instructor or Monetize Your Content, something like that. There is an application and more about what we do. So it is, we still would bring someone on, absolutely, but it's not something that we're recruiting actively for. But if someone just says, we'd love to meet you.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. No, that's good to know. You got to check it out, because there's a lot of great classes, courses on there, and some really interesting presenters. So so for everybody, guys, please check it out. It's really scary to put yourself out there, right? To put yourself out there. You have a great idea. There's something you really want to do. You have a spark, a fire, a passion. What advice would you give to somebody who's like really scared, like to take that first step?
First, understand, what are you scared of? What are you afraid of? What would happen if you fail? What would happen if you succeeded? What would happen? What are you afraid of?
Yeah.
Being seen, and why are you afraid? Then that goes into like Dana's thing, like what's the root of that fear, right? Address that fear, and then you won't have that fear anymore, and then you go out there and crush it.
Yeah.
It really comes down to what the fear is. Do you feel like you're not worthy of attracting that? Are you not deserving of it? Are you not capable? Are you not like sure of your capable skills? Because if you have the idea, obviously you're supposed to do it.
That's what I think.
You're getting the message from your higher self that's saying, like, this is where we want to go. So here's the idea. Now do it. So all you have to do is say, what's keeping that door closed for you? That unlocks the door.
Yeah, I love that, because that's what I think too. If you have the idea, you're meant to do it. Yeah. And it's interesting that you said the worthiness thing, because that's the first thing we do in any of the workshops is we hit the worthiness first. You have to feel you deserve what it is you're asking for, because it doesn't matter how many magic tricks we do, spells, candles we light, incense we burn, dances, chants. If you don't believe you're worthy of receiving what it is that you want, it's never going to come. So worthiness is the most important thing. Yeah. Oh my God. So Angela, we only have like a minute and a half. So is there anything that you really want people to know about you, or you want to say to us?
If anybody is looking to start a business or, a side hustle or whatever it is, I do recommend my book, because finduniquelyyou.com, Uniquely You update number 52 is a series of emails that I wrote to our community as I was building the business. And it has a lot of my fumbles and just not being able to, just craziness. But I was not worthy. I did not feel worthy of it, but I still did it anyway. And I think that would help people feel a sense of camaraderie and the sense of energy to get their spark going. So it's available on Amazon, Uniquely You update number 52, The Birth of a Bright-Eyed Entrepreneur, by me, Angela DiMarco. And I just highly suggest it. And reach out to me on LinkedIn. Let's be friends. Seriously. Find me.
Yeah, LinkedIn is her thing. So if you want to talk to Angela, go find her on LinkedIn. And it's Angela Marie DiMarco. That's your LinkedIn?
Yep. And also check out Going Commando with Angela and Dana and support our show, please.
God, yeah. It's a great show. It really is. I love your guys' conversations. Oh, my God. Thank you so much, Angela. It was such a pleasure having you on with me today. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to Postcards to the Universe with Melissa, creating the life you crave. And as always, I'm wishing everyone a wonderful week filled with joy, abundance, and love. Peace.
Bye.